So good morning, welcome to our practice. You can go ahead and find a comfortable seat to settle in, and we'll take some time, or rather enjoy some time together to center and become still. As you begin to find your comfortable seat, make sure that you're sitting tall up in your spine, that your palms are facing upward, and that there's an air of relaxation through the entire body, letting go immediately of unnecessary tension and stress being held in the body. Soften the walls of the heart to allow a current of higher consciousness to start flowing into your body. Relax the expression on the face, especially the point between the two eyebrows, the center for intuition. That is guidance through calm feeling. We'll start our practice this morning centered in both the heart and the spiritual eye. And we're using the tools of inner sensing or calm feeling or gentle concentration on these points. This is the principal benefit of learning these yoga postures, is to become aware of the energy that's flowing through your body and learn to direct that energy at will. And we start just by giving ourselves an easy practice of focusing on one part of the body and breathing very calmly. Whatever that might be gathering in the heart or the spiritual eye this morning in your practice, let there at least be a sense of expanding or spacious quality of energy, that things are a little more roomy within yourself. If you're very new to this practice, just take a few moments to tap on the spiritual eye or tap on the center of the heart, even both together. This will stimulate enough sensation in the body that it will pull your awareness to this part. When we're very new to these practices, it's sensation that helps us to become aware of the inner body. And then at once just alleviate that tapping and take a moment to relax and feel, and see if you can notice. Remember, it's not with the reasoning, thinking mind, the logical mind, but we're listening with calm presence. So we'll have a chant to take us deeper into this practice of sensing and becoming aware of the heart and the spiritual eye. Chanting is a wonderful way to stimulate awakening in the heart center, where we otherwise may be dry or on the other end of the spectrum, filled with desire, pulling us always outward. So imagine your heart becoming very calm in this chant. This chant is called O Thou Blue Skies. The words, O thou blue skies, under blue cover, hast thou hidden my beloved Lord? Open thy cover, let me discover my beloved in thy heart of hearts. And you might visualize as you hear this chant the blue skies as a thin veil that you can see behind them, like they were a blue sheet hanging, a silk sheet in the sunlight, and that sunlight was pouring forth and you could see that subtle light behind the veil. And this is the nature of the divine. Just enjoy another few moments sitting upright in the spine, lifting your attention through upright posture back at least to the heart. Feeling the dawning of new consciousness on the horizon of the mind. And the blissful warmth of that new consciousness touching the skin. Just look up to the spiritual eye for the final few breaths. If you need to, tap on this point, but otherwise look up with the physical eyes. Let's carry that energy even higher. Reach the hands above the head, palms connected, staying in your comfortable seat for mountain pose. Gentle pressure between the palms. All the focus is in the palms, as if you had a string attached between them and they were pulling the crown of the head through deeper relaxation, higher and higher. The affirmation, I lift my thoughts and energy up to touch the sky. I lift my thoughts and energy up to touch the sky. And feel that wonderful quality as you're deciding through conscious direction of the life force in the body to lift it up higher into the brain and even up into the hands. When you're ready, inhale, open the palms and let them gently separate, parallel, side by side. Shoulders relaxed. Stay tall in the spine. You may be able to begin to sense the magnetism between palms by placing your attention there. Let's inhale and reach the palms as high as they'll go, and then turn them outward, and as though you're parting the veil above the head, part the hands and let them begin to circulate, passing through the space around you very intentionally, opening up deeper and deeper into the space around you. Take another inhale, palms come up through prayer, through the center line of the body. Inhaling and finishing with them up above the head. And then exhaling and feeling, sensing the space around you opening, being magnetized by the energy of your body and your prayers. Inhaling one last time all the way up. And exhaling, opening the space around you. We're going to leave left hand down onto the ground. Inhale, send right arm reaching up, palm facing up. And then bend the elbow, drop the shoulder, and let that hand come down to the earth. And other side. Inhaling to reach, and then exhaling, nice, smooth, consistent movement. Left hand back to the earth. So dropping shoulder, then bending elbow, and pretending like you're pressing out of right hand until it reaches the earth. Good. And then maybe a little bit faster, as long as you can keep smooth here. Feeling the body waking up a bit. Shoulders beginning to awaken. And then we'll transform the movement, leaving hand low and then inhaling and circling out and around. So you leave your bottom arm low. This is left arm coming up around. If you need to open the eyes, you're welcome, but otherwise the whole practice is happening in the interior of the body. The more that we can center, become aware of what's happening within the joints, within the muscles, the mind, the greater our capacity to shift energy. Right. Next time you're all the way up and around, see if you can bend the elbow and maybe just circle behind the head a little bit. Just a little bit here. Almost a twist or an opening in the heart. Good. Just a couple. Make sure you're even. We'll finish on the opposite side that we started. Coming over, left arm reaching, both arms up into the sky. Let's interlace fingers, press the palms backwards. So palms are up into the sky. Relax your shoulders. Notice if you're clenching in the jaw or tightening in feet or even eyes or forehead. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to bend elbows and just slide the fingers like you're exiting one of those little Chinese finger traps, and then release, palms coming all the way down and around. So notice any new vitality in the body. Let's take it a step further here. We'll start releasing in the spine by extending feet, fingers behind the body. And we're going to go ahead and just roll the knees from one side to the other while arching the spine. If you're new to this practice, be dramatic. Roll all the way over onto the hip and then over to the other side. If you're experienced in this practice, There's so much more to explore. Close the eyes and look around a bit. Is there a little more lift in the chest? If you tend on the lethargic side, keep the chest lifted to start to draw that energy up higher in the body. And then eventually coming to a neutral position, we'll come right into boat pose. So hold onto the backs of your thighs, feet and knees close together. This is Navasana. When you're ready, you're going to go ahead and just rock back onto the heels, so toes lift, and lower the chest. Make sure that you keep your spine nice and long. We're going to look right into the spiritual eye even before we enter the deeper phase of the pose, and feel that you're lifting right from the base of your spine into the spiritual eye, your energy. Some of us can release our palms and we flip them up. And this is a great place to be for quite a while. And just feel that sense of inner fire beginning to build in the belly. The affirmations, say it with conviction and zeal at the spiritual eye. Within my every breath is infinite power. Within my every breath is infinite power. Learn to draw on that power. One of the great scientists of the early 1900s, Nikola Tesla, showed us that there was infinite power in every cubic inch of this universe. Tremendous power. Paramhansa Yogananda said, in 1 gram of the flesh of your body is enough electricity to power the city of Chicago. This was in the 30s and 40s, so maybe less electricity, but still tremendous potential. Let's take a deep inhalation. Good. Exhale. Just go ahead and come right into a comfortable seat. So cross the legs, face the palms up, and sit nice and tall. This is called a neutral asana. Look right into the heart, and then the spiritual eye. Within my every breath is infinite power. Particularly in this posture, see if you can become aware of your spine and that wonderful central axis in your body. With calm feeling, become aware. How about becoming aware of the base of the spine, resting on the earth, your 2 sits bones? And then gently coming all the way to the crown of the head. You can tap there even if you'd like. Good. One final moment here. A nice deep breath at the spiritual eye. Full exhalation. Look deeply into this point. And if you need to open the eyes, you're most welcome to. We're going to come into a reverse tabletop, or you can also do what's called a front stretching pose. So fingers point towards the heels. Easier version or gentle version is a nice way to put it. You go ahead and just lift your hips up off of the earth and you look over the belly region. Now you can choose, you can inhale to rise and then exhale to lower, since we're still early in the practice. If you want to extend the feet, you can also do a full front stretching pose, lifting hips and then exhaling to release down. Let's awaken some active energy, some vigor with the affirmation. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. If you'd like to stay in the pose, stay. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Squeezing thighs and glutes and belly muscles, holding steady. Smile if you can in the position. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Good. Let's come down if you're holding up. And just turn your fingers to the sides, knees bent, and let's flush the body. A little rolling of knees from one side to the other. Good. Let the breath flow here. Feel it beginning to circulate and awaken in the body. Good, let's release our hand opposite of the knees. So if your knees go over to your left, then your right hand comes around, and then bend the elbow and come to the other side. Just a little waving. It's a good way to free the wrists for a moment if you'd like to spiral the wrists a bit. And then we're going to go ahead and take fingers pointing back. Let's come right into our reverse tabletop pose again. So inhaling, lifting hips off of the ground, looking over the navel, and repeating the affirmation with a burst of energy. I rise to greet the world. Hug knees and calves together. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. If you'd like to extend your legs, come down to the earth. Just a few more breaths in the position. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Look to the spiritual eye if possible. When you're ready to lower down, go ahead and lower down. We're going to come into a neutral position, that is hands, fingers right by the sides of the hips, and press off the heels of your hands and lift the chest. Lift the chest, lift the crown of the head, but not the chin. Chin stays tucked. All right, see if you can feel the spine right now. It's like a super highway in your body. On the inhale is the northbound side, the upward rising. It's on the left side of your spine, and on the exhale is the southbound, the descending on the right side of the spine. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and release. We're going to take feet nice and wide now, as wide as the body will allow this early in the practice. Just take a few moments to wiggle the toes, maybe circle feet and ankles. It's okay if your knees bend in this pose. Not everybody's body readily accommodates this kind of position. Start with the hands behind the body, and I even like to do a little recline onto my hands so that you can squeeze your shoulders and your elbows behind the body, and look right up to the spiritual eye. Try to relax every part of your body. Nice calm breath circulating. When you're ready, you might come up on the tips of the fingers, so it's like a little tenting. I'll show you an example here behind the body. And you might start to walk yourself forward. At some point, you'll feel the inner thighs catch. If you can walk hands out in front of the body, feel free. And we're just going to do a little rocking side to side here. So think like a child rocking in the arms of the mother. A nice little soothing rock, kind of waving or washing like a little seashell into the water, falling down towards the bottom. The idea here is to center all the awareness down and towards the base of the spine, particularly in the hips and the sacrum. Now if you can reach onto your legs, you keep going down a little deeper. Some of us have hands out in front of the body, and you'd be amazed that if you just relax when you practice, there's so much more flexibility. You notice your jaw getting tight, or the point between your two eyebrows beginning to seal shut. You might relax those points, become a little bit deeper. And then we're going to start going up here and see if you can do maybe a little bit of circling. So find your hands in a position that's accommodating, and we're just barely beginning to dive into these awakening muscles and inner thighs and knees. Good. Now get your circle a little tighter and focus on the crown of the head, like you had a pencil attached to your head and you were trying to draw a perfect circle on the ceiling. And notice what that feels like. You can feel the whole spine over time. And slowly coming into neutral, maybe a couple of washes, and then we'll go ahead and fold forward and relax the head down. The affirmation, I welcome each new opportunity for further growth. If you can keep your toes pointed to the sky, you'll find a deepening of the awakening of sensation in the body. I welcome each new opportunity for further growth. What an accommodating and accepting affirmation. You're affirming this quality in yourself. The I is you. I welcome each new opportunity for further growth. Make sure to release head and neck for at least the last 3 breaths or so. Now just come up halfway when you're ready, inhaling, and with the head release down towards the ground, stretch the muscles of the face. So I'll show you if you need a demonstration, but you're just going to wrinkle the forehead, scrunch the eyes close together, and wiggle the nose, and roll the lips a little bit here. You can even stick out the tongue towards the chin. Good, and on a nice deep breath in, go ahead and inhale and rise. Set hands behind the body, squeeze shoulders and elbows behind the heart, and sit tall with toes awake and ready up towards the sky. Looking into the spiritual eye for a few moments here. Try to relax the whole body. When you're ready, you can go ahead and draw the feet one at a time in towards the center. And we're going to just fold our legs off to the side and come up onto hands and knees. So furthering the awakening of our practice, let's tuck toes underneath. We're going to relax the whole body as we practice here. Drop the chest down towards the earth, arch the spine, especially low spine, and lift the crown of the head for cow pose. Exhale, tuck the belly up towards the spine, round the back, and look towards the belly or navel. A few rounds here, passing from one position to the other. Allowing the breath to deepen and restore a greater sense of vitality into your body. Keep the shoulders relaxed, even the expression. And think not that you're practicing or that you're mechanically manipulating the body, but that there is a silent hand of grace that is guiding you and directing your practice, and you're just aligning with that grace by relaxing and listening. At some point, we'll step knees towards together, maybe on your final cat pose, untucking the toes. Let's go ahead and inhale and roll up the spine so head and arms stay low until you approach what is going to turn into camel pose. Inhale, send arms reaching up overhead. Exhale, part the hands down, noticing the field of awareness around you, heels of the hands and the top of the hips. First, in this position, lift through the solar plexus. So lift the front side of the navel, and you'll find that the heart is able to recline backwards a little bit more. Try to keep hips in a neutral position. That means not flying them way forwards, but keeping them underneath the heart center. And we start by looking over the heart region, at least straight forwards. So if you're looking towards the ground, lift a bit higher. And you might even look to the spiritual eye. The affirmation with calm faith. I open to thy light. Relax a bit more with calm faith. I open to thy light. With calm faith, I open to thy light. A few more breaths. This can be a particularly awakening posture in the body. If you feel anything approaching uncomfortable, at least take one final breath, and with a very calm release, slide hands down out of the way, look down to the ground first. Then you can inhale and look up to the hands, joining above the head. Exhale, part the arms, hips come down, back over the heels. We're going to slide right into a cow pose, so chest goes low, and we'll inhale and peel up. Good, just one cat pose. Exhaling, rounding the back and pushing off tips of the fingers, looking towards the navel. Take a little rocking forwards and backwards. Keep pressing more and more breath out of the body. And you can either come down and take child's pose, For your neutral posture, or if you're comfortable sitting in Vajrasana, you can sit over the ankles and face palms up on the lap. Tune right in with the breath, keeping the golden thread of your awareness weaving through the tapestry of this practice right here and now. What else can you learn about the interior body? Is there an awareness of the spine that can become more powerful, or is there almost like a sense of a field beyond the boundary of your skin that you can begin to become aware of? A few more breaths here, always finishing at the spiritual eye. When you are ready to rise, we're coming through tabletop position here, and I'll demonstrate in the sideways position. As you do arrive, we're going to take our right foot and extend all the way back. If you have a sensitive spine, keep the knee bent, and we're going to extend that foot out and off to the side. So let me show you from the front here. We're coming into gate pose, so extending back and then drawing around and settling down. Toes are pointing towards the direction of your heart. Good. Once you arrive into the pose, just go ahead and hold onto the hips for a moment here and practice lengthening the spine, getting nice and tall. When you feel confident in this position, slide the right hand down the leg. Find a nice resting position as long as it's not the knee. Inhale, sweep the other arm up and around. The focus of this practice is long, upward rising energy in the spine. So you might begin to lean over a little bit, but focus first on reaching upward. The affirmation, waves of joy surge upward in my spine. If we're too intense in our efforts, we drown out these quiet voices of inner joy and inner calm. So try to relax the body even as you aspire upward, that you might feel that wave surging up your spine. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Repeat with me, waves of joy surge upward in my spine. When you're ready to release out of the pose, both arms come back up to the sky, align center. Deep breath in, exhale, hands right into the heart. Feel that wonderful binding energy coming into the center of the heart. We're going to take hands down onto the earth. And then you can wave that back foot or bend at the knee if you need to, reaching behind the body and then settling down onto the earth. We're going to stay in tabletop position here. Close the eyes and look up into the spiritual eye. Tuck your chin towards your chest and get as long as you can from your tail to the crown. Feel the stability in your body and the freedom in your spine. When you're ready, we're going to inhale opposite side this time. So we'll go ahead and extend out. This time is left foot coming all the way back and then sweeping up and around in the capacity that is available for you. And then we take toes pointing the same direction as the heart, hands onto the hips. Good. Hips right over the supportive knee. Just like we did on the other side, you can lay your bottom hand down. Just make sure you skip the knee. Stay on the thigh or go down towards the calf if that's in your practice. Opposite arm, start with palm side facing up. And reach up first. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. If you feel inspired or compelled, turn the palm to face down up above and then reach up and lean over to the side. Just careful not to kink the spine in any way. Sometimes when we're very flexible, we just sort of fold our body into a pose. Reach up first, and then slowly approach the boundary. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Careful not to effort too much and constrict the channel of the body and the prana flowing through it. You want the perfect balance of effort and calm. And you'll find thus vitality begins to flow through the body. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Careful not to freeze the neck in a particular position. Reach to the crown of the head. Final few breaths. Always breathing, always flowing, both arms up into the sky. Align the spine, push out of the knee to lift the hands up as high as they'll go. Good, this time we're going to open space around us. So turn the palms out and gently bathe the space. Not an unconscious activity, rather you're feeling and sensing the space around you. You can bow the hips back and tighten the belly wall to draw the hands down towards the earth. Bending at the knee. Let's come right into a cow expression. Drop the chest, roll the shoulders down and back, and then pull crown of the head away from the tail. And exhale, round the back. Look to the belly. Take a few breaths here in your cat pose, reversing the effects of the back bending and the side body extending through this posture of cat pose. Deep breath in, exhale all the breath out, and stay on empty, even if just for a second. We're going to come down to a neutral position, either sitting in Vajrasana or right into child's pose. So your choice. Vajrasana is sitting over the ankles, palms facing up. And you'll notice, if you relax in this moment, the body will begin to open, like many doorways opening right before your closed eyes to new vistas of consciousness and inner possibility of movement. We'll all look to the spiritual eye, tapping at this point if you're very new to this practice, or even rubbing in a little circle, just stimulating the attention to focus here. Redefine inner silence for yourself in this minute. Be completely still and empty. Feel the wonderful spaciousness within your body. When you're ready, you can slowly open the eyes and begin to come back, approaching on inhalation towards a tabletop position. We're going to come into a side plank, and I'll show you from the side here. As you inhale, send your right foot reaching back behind you, point the toes, then you can open the hips and settle your heel and toes towards the earth. Open into your side body extension. Right arm is up towards the sky, and you're breathing nice stable breath. Now there's the option, if your body is in the place to do so, you can balance on the supportive arm on the bottom and extend your bottom leg out. Careful not to take your practice back into the realm of the physical, but stay inwardly drawn in the metaphysical, the interior awareness or interoception, the affirmation. The calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness and all distractions. The calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness, all distractions. If you can stay another breath, you might need to drop down if you modified up. One more time with the affirmation. Let's say it together. The calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness, all distractions. When you're ready to lower down, go ahead and inhale and release the arm up, and then turn the chest back and down to the earth. Good, we're going to take knees together, come right to the other side. So first starting by extending and pointing toes out, and then settling heel and toes to the side. Left arm up, reaching above the body. Stabilizing for a few moments here, noticing what's required of you to hold the position. And breathing vitality, life force into the limbs. If you feel compelled to, you might send that bottom leg out of the way and just stack the foot on top of the other, using this newfound flow of energy and consciousness to strengthen and illumine the body. It's never by purely your own efforts, but we're opening our hands to receive the help of the divine in our practice. Let's go ahead and use the affirmation. The calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness and all distraction. One more time. The calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness, all distraction. Lower down calmly and take an intermediary breath if you had lifted that foot off of the earth. Inhaling, breathing deeply, and then as you're ready, reach up over the head and exhale, turn the heart down and circle back to tabletop position. Take a few rounds here of inhaling, lifting into cow pose, and then exhaling, rolling and rounding up into cow. Moving and grooving through your practice. Till you find the perfect balance of calm presence and invigorating energy. Alright, we'll come back to a neutral position here. We're actually going to rise up onto the knees and take hands into prayer position. This will be our neutral pose just for maybe 3 breaths. Look into the heart and then up to the spiritual eye. Good. Try to relax. Tuck toes underneath if you need a little help with the balancing on this pose. And then we'll raise hands up above the head for a kneeling mountain pose. I lift my thoughts and energy up to touch the sky. I lift my thoughts and energy up to touch the sky. Gentle pressure in between the palms creates a focal point so that you can become aware of energy above the head, or consciousness or awareness. Try to get a little longer through your spine. Reach the crown of the head. Reach, reach, reach. Lengthening arms as high as they'll go. Deep breath in. Good. Exhale, bow the hips, circle hands down and around and back towards the earth. We're coming through a kneeling position, or a tabletop position, to tuck the toes underneath. And we'll come right into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, the heels are heavy. You're looking towards your lap, and your hips are reaching up towards the sky. If backs of the knees are still tense, do a little marching in place here. Good. Keep the attention in the spine in this posture and repeat after me the affirmation. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Relax your muscles as you repeat the affirmation so that you are living what it's saying. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being.
Feel the tension in the mind, like a gripping fist beginning to soften as you repeat. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Some of us may like to stay here another 3 or 5 breaths. Feel free. Others of us new to the pose are lowering down onto knees and we're extending into child's pose to rest. Others of us come into Vajrasana and we rest here in an upright position. Whatever you would like to do and whatever your body is able to accommodate. Stay with the affirmation and feel it changing your consciousness. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Try it in the heart. Repeat at the heart. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Notice what you feel, what you can sense. And then how about up towards the spiritual eye? A few moments here, especially if your forehead is touching the earth. You have a wonderful stimulating awareness at the spiritual eye. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Tension is evaporating from the body every time that you repeat this affirmation. Ready to come out of the position, do so gradually. Remember that everything's happening on the inside, so there's no need to rush. Come into another pose. That awareness is equal in every pose. When you're ready, we're going to swing the feet off to the side and come down onto our backs. There's a wonderful position called fish pose that we can do together. Holding on backs of the thighs, you can just roll yourself down onto your back. You're going to have to extend your legs, and I would recommend watching me before you attempt the pose, just so you can see what it looks like and then feel it in your own body. Elbows have a slight bend as the hands go down by your hips. If your arms are very long, your hands will be further down. You're going to slide on the back of the head and arch the heart up towards the sky and use the strength of the arms and the position point of the head to hold you in the pose. If you have a sensitive neck, you are invited to be very mindful in this pose and come down by sliding on the head. You never lift the head in this pose. So come into the pose when you're ready. And we'll start right away with the affirmation. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Keep lifting in the heart, relaxing, feeling energy flowing up the spine. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. If you can stay another breath, stay another breath. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Look to the spiritual eye even if you can before you exit the pose. Relax all your energy and consciousness upward. When you are ready to let go, slide the head out of the way and come back down onto the earth. Good. Turn the palms to face up right away and rest the body. Look to the spiritual eye. If your body's having trouble settling, take a double inhalation and tense and squeeze every muscle in the body. I'll lead us together just in case you want to. Double inhalation. Squeeze the feet, calves, knees, thighs, glutes, belly, ribs, chest, the arms, all the way from wrist to shoulders, the throat, and send it out from the heart. Again, if you'd like. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze every last little muscle, and a smooth release. Good. Relax and look up, at least to the heart or the spiritual eye. Feel your body as one integrated instrument. Both of your legs, your arms, your head, and your torso align together in a harmonious cooperation. We're going to come into a plow pose, so take your feet down onto the earth and your knees will be pointed towards the sky. Plug your elbows into the ground and watch me first before you attempt, unless you know the pose on your own. You're going to roll your knees up towards your chest, and as you push off of your elbows, you're going to lengthen your feet over the face. And see if you can catch your hips in your hands. Now most of us will float somewhere above the earth and will be resting on our upper back. Careful not to put too much pressure on your face. If this is a new practice, you might stay for a few breaths and then reset. If you've done this many times before and your feet can come on to the earth, let them rest. The affirmation, new life, new consciousness now flood my brain. New life, new consciousness now flood my brain. It's quite easy to look towards the spiritual eye in this pose, as there's so much activating awareness that's being pressurized up into the spiritual eye. New life, new consciousness now flood my brain. Now, some of us can practically fall asleep in this pose. Others of us are past due to come out. So when you're ready to lower out, just roll the hips down and you settle your feet back onto the earth. Take your arms nice and wide, palms facing down, and just roll the knees from left to right. And start small here. Don't go rushing into this twist and find yourself in a place that's beyond where you're ready to practice. We're going to go ahead and rest the knees over to one side, and this is our final posture, a twist from either side. Make sure you roll all the way over onto your side. So let's start together so that we're unified. Knees are over to the right, and both of your arms are hands one on top of the other. And then slowly begin to roll and draw the top hand across the body. You might make it to your heart. Some of us make it to the shoulder, others of us all the way out open wide. Another option, if the spine does not have any injury in it, or if it feels okay in your body, you can extend your top leg over. The affirmation, I open to the flow of the divine's life within me. I open to the flow of the divine's life within me. Most of us dream ourselves to be a cup that fills and empties. We only have so much energy. I challenge you to visualize yourself as a channel through which energy and consciousness is constantly flowing. And that when we limit that channel to others, we limit that channel of energy for ourselves. So freely feel it pouring forth from every pore of your skin, every cell of your body. I open to the flow of the divine's life within me. On a subtler level, the entry point of this energy is at the base of your skull, top of your spine, at the medulla oblongata. Let's go ahead and rotate to the other side. So if you had an extended leg, go ahead and bend at the knee, revolve your hands back over one another, and then you can go ahead and just take your hands up and roll onto the spine, and then we'll go ahead and roll over to the other side. So remember, both arms gather first, and this ensures that you're really laying on the left side of the body, and then begin to find your counter twist. You can hold on to heart or hips. Close the eyes, and let's go ahead and center our awareness right at the base of the skull. Just beyond where your head is probably resting on the physical ground. It's in that little pocket. We'll take 3 deep cleansing breaths into that point, just inviting the muscles of the base of the skull, top of the spine to start relaxing. And feeling them softening, and perhaps even a stronger flow of vitality coming into your body. Remember that you are a channel, not a cup to be filled and emptied. The greater our presence and awareness, the wider our channel becomes. The more life force can flow into your body. I open to the flow of the divine's life within me. Let there at least be willingness, a curiosity. What if I did open to this potential of an unseen force of energy flowing into my body? Just like electricity is unseen, yet still operates. Most of our lives are dependent upon it. Maybe you're becoming aware of the spine and all the wonderful currents of energy that flow up and down the spine, right beneath the tumult of our normal resting consciousness. When you're ready to exit the pose, do so on inhalation, reaching all the way back over to the other side. Exhaling, we'll roll ourselves onto our back. And any final pose that you need before Shavasana, now is a good time. Sometimes we like to hug the knees in towards the chest. Others of us take feet up towards the sky, or maybe we're just rocking on our upper back a little. So again, if you're new to the practice, Shavasana is the final resting pose. You're laying out on your back, legs extending in one direction, head in the opposite, palms facing upward. Some yogis will want to come into a seat and meditate for the remainder of their practice, and that's welcomed as well. I'll add though, if your body feels like it's been on quite a journey in this practice, we'll put it that way, then stay in Shavasana. Give it the time to rest and restore. If you feel inwardly energized or a very expansive inner consciousness, that's the time to come into your seat. Both use the affirmation for Shavasana. Close the eyes and look into the spiritual eye. Bones, muscles, movement, I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, depression, churning thoughts,
All these I give into the hands of peace. As you rest in Shavasana, feel from the center of your being that you are expanding infinitely in every direction into greater and greater peace. We'll take this time in silence together for about 5 minutes. begin to invite our awareness first back to the spiritual eye. Noticing the calm and expansive state of being that this practice has created within us. How peaceful our mind and our body can be. Take a few breaths now with awareness centered at the base of the skull, breathing into the fullness of your body. Feel that you're drawing vitality all the way down to the soles of the feet, tips of the fingers, and everything in between. Breathing the whole body simultaneously. On one of these breaths, deep breath, we'll begin to use that energy to awaken fingers and toes and hands, feet, wrists and ankles. And work your way to awakening in the body enough to extend your arms above your head along the earth. Drawing deep breath. And then knees can come in towards the chest with arms wrapping around. Take a little rocking on your back. It's a nice soothing way to come back into the physical body. Eventually we'll roll over off to our right side and take a few moments of respite here. Feeling how wonderfully spacious this consciousness is, how peaceful it is to just be. You might repeat in the awakened energy of your heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. When you're ready to rise up, inhalation takes you pressing off the earth. We all meet in a comfortable seated posture. Eyes remain closed the whole time. Make sure that you can feel your sits bones, the points of your hips resting on the earth. You can do a little rocking and you'll feel them plug into the earth. From that place, inhale and lift through the spine, especially crown of the head, palms facing up on the lap. Close the eyes and look deeply into the spiritual eye with calm presence, and we'll just pause here for about a minute or so to conclude our practice. Keep relaxing, breathing and sensing. Let's join the hands together in prayer at the heart center, and we'll close with singing Oms. Chant along with if you'd like, or just listen to internalize this holy vibration of Om. And we'll go ahead and rub the palms together, just sending out waves of blessing out into this world. Let your body be a channel for the upliftment of other souls, that grace might flow through you and inspire them in their own lives. Let's extend the palms out nice and wide. We'll Om 3 times. Om. Om. Gentle bow of the head towards the hands in prayer. Thumbs lifted to the spiritual eye. We bow to the divinity within each other, within ourselves, that is ever present, that is the essence of who each of us is, by saying Namaste, Namaste. Take your time coming back. Now is the ideal time to meditate, so you might shut your eyes for even just 5 minutes, or until the normal waking consciousness returns. This is a beautiful and blessed place to be, in this type of calm and peace within yourself. If you have things to move on to, do your best to preserve this consciousness as you move through your day. Thank you all so much for practicing. Namaste.